I'm gonna tell you a story. First thing you have to understand, though, is time does not work the way you think it does. You can call me Oracle, because I'm the one who's talking to you. Welcome to the call. So, we're gonna get a little bit into a couple of things about Facade, Harmiamuka, self-image, Atma Pratima, set, vote, and vote. Anyway. And mirror image, as technically this does things in a mirror image or pratibimba. And yeah, self-image is Atma Pratima. Whenever if you're one of those people that's able to project into the Tarazwap or the Mahaswapmatara Akasa, the astral space, essentially you send your Atma Pratima there. With essentially like your Mano Vijnana. And that's the point where like your Klisthavana becomes like sort of an intersection between the Alevanana and like the general Akaza, because that's sort of like how you stay connected to your avatar, your incarnation. And Chaya. That's a lot of like your shadow. But that's also like your Chayatman, your soul self, like your shadow self. Which is basically like when people talk about shadow work, they're talking about you working on your Chayatman, or like the parts of your soul that are like, well, frankly, that are scary. Um Alright. Now, before I get too much more into this, I'm gonna get a little bit into hunting because of Vidyahari and Garahara, as in Fae and Labyrinths, because the core notion of like hunting is a very like old concept in terms of just like humanity, and it very deeply informs things like Vidyahari Fae, because they're very much tied to like um, older times of Priadata's history, when it was just like, you know, feudal times, stuff like that, when, hunting was more of a common thing. And like we still have like all of the hunting stuff in it. Like there's the core concept of if you ever seen the show Elementary, there's the thing about the warrior gene, which is essentially about a genetic impulse to explore, more than like to cause harm. It's about like exploring and going out there and seeing what's new, at least in my opinion. So tying into that, there is a thing that could very much help you in terms of logic if you Tayashati Banda, or discharge assumptions. An associate of mine from back in the day used to say, assumption is the mother of all F-ups. But the thing is, like, we kind of need to make assumptions in our day-to-day life. So, like I've said before, as long as you're able to discharge your assumptions. Now, I'm going to be delving into very briefly into the core concept of logic and symbolic logic. I'm not going to like show you how to do symbolic logic. It's like a proof or anything, but core concept of discharging your assumptions is like, if you need to make an assumption in the beginning of an argument, you have to make sure that the argument still stands with the assumption gone. So basically, like, if A, then B. Okay, so like you need to find out if it's B. That will only work if you have an A. And so like you can assume, like, if you're not sure you have an A, you might be able to reason it out by finding out other stuff that will still lead to B, that still include A. But if you can't, but if like that, basically you would then assume A. But if you can't get to B without A still there, like if there isn't another way to get to B, or if there is only another way to get to B that involves there not being an A, then you have failed to discharge your assumptions. You have failed to Taishati Banda. So, in cases of like this is a good time where you have things like third time's the charm. Now, in the first case, you can have an incident. Aryabhata. First, incident. Second, 12 times can be a coincidence. Dvitiyasa Mayaga. Or, second coincidence. Third time, Tritya Varti Akarana Prakara. Third time is a tendency, not always, but a tendency to indicate a pattern of behavior. And that is very key for things like hunting. Huzzah! So, okay, so since I'm into art and science, I can assume that I have done my paskaba of my demon jargon on the stage to be into the epistasis, or the main part of the plot. So, unmasiti ratimuka, open the epistasis. I guess if I'm at least into it, I'm over 100 episodes, so I can say this is a epic song Gathyaki of me trying to at least be epic, or tell a Sangita Mahakavya, or an epic story. So kind of got out of order, but getting into the topic of mirror image and Chaya and Facade, well, wow, those actually kind of work in terms of healing, in terms of hunting, such as a facade of a wolf in sheep's clothing, or a Hanyamuka Gomuka Vayagra. Yeah, wolf in sheep's clothing is actually so old that they have it in Sanskrit. You could try to be a wild huntsman, a Vanya Zvaposaka. Huntsman is Zvaposaka, and wild is Vanya. And you could issue a hunter's cry via the Gati. Alright. You could also take a Zarya to Arasati. Or if you want to, you can become a hunter and Viadiate, or you can behave like a sheep and Ekadiati. Alright, since I've done those, I'm also going to review essences, like insect essence, Janturasa, flesh essence, Mamsasara, body essence, Dehasara, tree essence, Tarasara, cloud essence, Magasara, Shiva's essence, Zivadatu, truth essence, Tatvasara, Tantra essence, Tantrasara, and skin essence, Karmasara. There is also rock essence, Zilasara. There is also the righteous hunter, as opposed to the wolf in sheep's clothing, the Dharma Vyada. And yes. And cool. I'll finish this up with this. So, you can also choose to be like Abel or like Cain. As near as I can tell, Abel was a hunter, but he didn't start out as a hunter. Cain was a farmer. But he later would be, it would later turn into Abel as a herdsman or a shepherd, and Cain still as a farmer. But we'll move on to balancing this out to hunter and shepherd. So you can Vairerate, or you can also Kruk, which would be Utkukati and shepherd Gopayati. You can Gopayati, or you could Ukakati, and you could Gopayati, Brahmanda Rasmi, or shepherd of a cosmic ray, and you could Utkukati, Nidvaratimira Pradeta, or Crook Dark Matter and Crook Space. Yeah, there's a reason I went to Crook there. Here's an idea: if we manage to ever get enough, if I ever get enough people to actually watch this, then I can get enough bhakti. Here, why don't we all try to work together to Pratipayati Halkya Tapati? Yeah, that's for that literally means reverse global warming. Wouldn't that be cute if that worked? All right, and this is Oracle, and I'm done for now, singing it out of the way of the wow, in the way of the Hanyamuka facade, useful for making a Vanika mask of, and if you want to be a Be your shy at selfie, but don't try to be shy at someone else. That won't work. We deceiving all else. And if you're gonna be like that, shy ain't mine gonna help you like that. 'Cause it won't let you deceive yourself. That ain't shadow work in the way they evolve. I'll be another shy Atman karma. Can't do that in the way it works up. This circle I'm singing self out to Atma Jyati all the way out to Gayati Atma. Back down to exit on the way. Have a good evening, yeah.